These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Mountain Goat says, please just be patient. The reinstatement is coming, and I firmly believe from what we now already know and are about to witness is a major part of the banking reforms that everything else was geared up to support over the past 10 years. Iraq is about to get out of the sanction mindset altogether and return to common global banking practices of how they will be doing business with the rest of the world going forward. All right, Bruce Weiser-Niles, the Prime Minister of Iraq, met with our President Trump for a couple of hours in an undisclosed location on Sunday afternoon, and they were discussing the fact when Prime Minister Sudani of Iraq was going to fly back to Iraq that afternoon. He was going to announce to the entire country of Iraq they were indeed a sovereign nation and had a sovereign currency. Once that occurred, and we would have simultaneous announcements here. Not quite sure who was going to make it, but was to be made to banks and to our redemption centers and to other institutions, with officials dealing with currency exchanges. Once those announcements were made, we felt we were good to go and ready to get started. Um, Bruce goes on to say we haven't started yet, but we know that we've checked with certain banks like Chase and Wells that have the dinar, for example, is one of our currencies on the front screens of the banks, and they're rising in value. But the last time we checked, the bank screen rates were flashing. When it's flashing on and off, it means that it's not quite ready to be exchanged. So we're waiting according to the latest information that we have from redemption centers and banks that they're waiting for the green light to come in the form of an email from Wells Fargo Corporate New York. When that email comes in to the redemption centers, they will know it's time to go. It's time to start. We are close. Frank 26 has an article, quote, Ascension's 12th China Roundtable on WTO Ascensions, Arab Perspectives on WTO Ascensions, and the Multilateral Trading System. Frank says, I love the word ascension, WTO. Can you tell me who you are sending in the WTO? The article, quote, Algeria, Comoros, Iraq, Lebanese Republic, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and the Syrian Arab Republic are in the process of Article 12 ascension. This is a lot for monetary reform of the Iraqi dinar that would bring forth the economic explosion reform of Iraq, and this is wonderful. Militiaman says Saudi Arabia helped Iraq with about 15 years of negotiations with the WTO and 1 year. Iraq at that time was at observer status. Being an observer, you have the ability to have accessions. Am I waiting for them to have accessions before they have an exchange rate? No, I'm not, but the fact that they're getting to that stage shows the world's expectation is the cat's out of the bag. All right, Jeff's question, why the timing of the rate change has anything to do with budget period. Jeff says here's why. Countries calculate their budgets off the value of the currency. In order for them to approve a budget, whatever currency value they're going to utilize has to be released publicly. That means the rate has to change before the budget can be approved. Kuwait changed their rate on March 24th of 1991 before their April 1st budget period. It's that simple. Pimpy has a community comment that says, thanks for the letdown once more that Iraq will never RV. Pimpy's response was, I never said it would never RV, never. Pimpy says, in fact, I'm the one that said it's going to go up in increments. Mark Z via PDK says, no, the RV is not dependent on the collapse of the stock market, but many of us believe the collapse of the stock market will force the RV. Frank 26 says the US dollar is going down in value this week, which means your currency, Iraqi dinar, is going to go up in value. The only way for that to happen is with a new exchange rate and the lower notes to match it. Frank says, in my opinion, you're going to see the dollar go up before it is finally removed and eradicated one last time. Walking stick, Iraqi bank friend, Aki update. The training with the specimen sheets is a daily continuing thing. We don't know if it's going to be the De La Rue machines or a completely different structured machine because the new security features on the new small lower notes are not recognizable on the old De La Rue machines. Aki is working with new sorting and counting machines, not the new De La Rue machines. These machines New De La Rue will only be used inside of Iraq. Aki has no need for these machines. Chase's JP Morgan, who buys and sells currency around the world, would also have these new machines. Claire has an article quote, Al-Sudani is making an upcoming visit to Washington. Quote, the two sides discuss the files that will be raised during the Prime Minister's upcoming visit to Washington and the cooperation mechanism within the strategic framework agreement between Iraq and the United States and the committees formed in this regard. All right, Mark Z via PDK, the Sudanese, it's an article quote, the Sudanese received an official letter from America regarding the scheduling of the end of the tasks for the international coalition. Mark Z says, we believe this is the final step for Iraq to become fully sovereign and increase the rate of the dinar. They didn't give a date, but imply it's sooner rather than later. All right, Sandy Ingram says the problem for Iraqi dinar investors is no U.S. banks and few banks worldwide will allow transactions using the Iraqi dinar. Bankers turn their noses up when people ask about Iraqi dinar, and this is one of the reasons the investment is called shady. Frank26, question, who do the new lower note samples belong to right now? Frank says only the banks, not the citizens. That will happen. It will be on their television, but not yet, though. Lastly, we've got Rayren98, who says, good sources inform that they are attempting to push it out before the end of the month.